I am pleased to be joined by the #1 ranked amateur lightweight in all of New England, Mohammad AL Kinani, who is getting ready to fight next at NEF 42 against none other than Justin Middleton on February the 8th at the Merrill Auditorium. Mohammad, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you, Ryan?
Really good. Thank you for the time. Excited to have you on here. I've had my eye on you for a while now. Clearly, you're the #1 ranked amateur lightweight in all of New England. I believe you're also the #1 ranked welterweight as far as the amateur ranks go as well. So you've got quite a lot of accolades behind you and clearly a bright future. I want to talk about this upcoming fight, obviously, but first off, I'd like to talk about your most recent fight. You actually had probably the most signature win of your career, I would say, beating Chris OBrien. How difficult of a fight was that? And did you feel like you really wanted to go out and make a statement there in that fight?
It was a great fight. Chris O'Brien's a great opponent, or was a great opponent. Um, Man, he wanted that fight, and I had to give it to him. It was a great fight. I was having a great time over there.
Watching him, obviously, he's got plenty of tape on him. He's fought quite a bit. What did you feel like you needed to go in and implement against him? Or did you just feel like you're going to kind of control the fight regardless of where it went?
Nothing special, really. I just wanted to keep it standing, and I succeeded on keeping him at the end of my punches, and I just controlled the fight that way. It was just another fight. I prepare for all my fights the same, with just a little tweaks for a game plan. And for Chris O'Brien, he doesn't really block kicks, so I ended all my combination with a leg kick, and I was successful with that.
Yeah, the first time I actually saw you fight live, it looks like you got a visitor behind you there.
Oh yeah, that's my little buddy right there.
What's his name?
That's Grim right here.
Grim. Okay. Yeah, I'm an animal lover myself, so that's cool to see. Uh, I'd like to talk also just a little bit about the fight that I saw live when you beat Clifford Redman. You're 3-0 for the NEF. All three of your fights are first round TKO. When you go against someone like Clifford, who doesn't have a win, but is always a game fighter, comes in there to compete and really gives it his all. Is there a different level of feeling like you have to get an important win, a first round victory against someone like that? Or do you just feel like it doesn't really matter what their record is? You're just going to go in there and just let the cards fall where they may?
Hey, I'm not the type of fighter to say no to a fight. However, the Clifford Redman fight, I was getting ready to fight Jamie Sprague from Nostos, and he dropped off the fight about 2 weeks before the event. And Clifford Redman was the only one who was able to step in that short notice of time, and the fight had to happen, and I went for it. I mean, Clifford Redman is just another fighter, and it had to happen.
Yeah, well, you looked very impressive to see you fight cage side. You're pretty big for the lightweight division. How tall are you? What's your reach, and what do you normally walk around at?
I believe I'm 6'1". I walk around 175. Um, and my reach is about 73, 74, I think.
Okay, that's pretty good for 155.
Yeah, I walk around 175, so it just makes sense to drop. It's an easy drop every time, I don't struggle to cut weight. If I ever fought on welterweight, then that's just my walk around weight. And yeah.
Mhm. Well, I'm sure, regardless of what the future holds, lightweight, welterweight, you got some big things in 2020 coming. I'd like to touch upon also the fact that we talked a little bit before we went live. You don't have a belt. You did compete once for Combat Zone, and that's the one loss of your career. What did you learn from that fight? Is that something that you feel like you could really take something moving forward to make you a better fighter?
Absolutely. Just fighting Romano, it's not about the fact that, look, being an amateur is all about taking tough fights, about the experience. And fighting Romano was an experience for me. It was a humbling experience to begin with. Uh, I trained harder than ever after that loss, and I feel like it was necessary in my career. I look back and it was just a lesson, and I can't wait to be back in the cage with Romano at pros. It will happen sooner or later.
He's very highly ranked himself. Do you feel like
Absolutely, yes.
is that really a fight that you're gunning for here in the near future? Do you think that could be a rematch we'd see in 2020?
I don't see it happening in 2020, but it will happen
Okay.
sooner or later, like I said.
All right. Now, I know you have a very busy work schedule. You were telling me the long hours that you work. What is it specifically that you do for work, and how does that affect your ability to get into the gym and train?
I work for law enforcement and public safety. Um, uh, Working overnight sucks for sure, but we find time to train. I mean, that's all I do: work, eat, sleep, train. It's just part of the day, whether it's early in the morning, whether it's right after work, it has to happen. We got to put 2 hours in at least.
Have you been at Evolution Athletics throughout the duration of your MMA career thus far?
Yeah, that's who I started with. Nate Libby's my man.
Yeah, he is a very good coach. I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about him. Who are some of your main training partners day to day that are really helping get you ready for this upcoming fight against Justin?
Well, we have Taylor Costantino at the gym constantly. He's a great resource, a great fighter with a great skill set. We have Megan Rosado at the gym and plenty other teammates that are just starting their career. I have a Muay Thai coach. We have Keegan Hornstra, a main sparring partner. I love going at it with that guy, and he has helped improve my game quite a bit. And we have Coach Chris Kramer for BJJ and wrestling, and I love that guy's style. He's a killer.
Yeah, definitely a very good gym. It's a beautiful gym too. I've seen videos and pictures. It's very large. Did they do any updating very recently, or has it just been this beautiful facility for a while now?
No, man, it's been the same. We've been just adding equipment slowly, but the gym is just great. Gives you goosebumps as soon as you walk in. It's just a great place to be. I can't get enough of that place.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. Now, do you watch a lot of other regional fights? Do you pay attention to who the fighters that you might be fighting in the future are? Or are you one of those guys that just does your own thing, doesn't really worry too much about what everyone else is doing here in the New England area?
I definitely follow up. I try to stay aware of what's going on around me in the promotions. I do have my eyes on few fighters, but when the time is right, I trust my coach Nate Libby endlessly, and I don't really. We never talk names. I mean, he just tells me that I have a fight on that date, and I'm getting ready for it. I'm dropping weight, and I'm fighting whoever. I mean, if he thinks that's a good fight for me, that is a good fight for me, and I'm not gonna argue that.
The reason I asked that question is because the vacant lightweight title for the NEF promotion was just fought fairly recently. Zach Richards went in and beat Mike Murray, and that was a good fight. It was competitive. It went the duration to a decision. I got to imagine you've probably watched that fight once or twice and maybe dissected what they did right, what they did wrong. What did you think of that fight stylistically between those two? And is that a fight that with Zach that you're hoping to get here soon?
Look, it was a great fight. I train with Zach all the time at the gym. He comes and trains all the time, and I wanted either of them, just didn't happen.
So, do you think that they could match you, even though you train with Zach? Is that a fight that could still happen? I mean, I got to imagine you want to get that belt.
Like I said, I'm not the type of guy to say no to a fight. I wanted either of them for a fight, and it didn't happen. But if Zach wants it, it's definitely gonna happen. We're gonna put up a show. I
All
love
right.
that guy, and I love what he brings to the cage, and it would be awesome to be there with him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That would be a fight that I'm sure the fans will be clamoring to get into the arena, wherever it may be, to watch. Should be a great headline fight for a card for sure. Let's talk about this camp. It's right during the holidays. Does that affect what you're doing as far as eating and whatnot, or are you one of those guys that just
No,
stays very strict?
I was gonna say not really. It doesn't change much. I try to keep my weight the same and try to maintain. Um, uh, it's not gonna be a hard cut at all. I mean, I'm doing pretty well as far as that. Training, I've been putting in hours. So it's gonna be good. Being at the holidays, it's definitely. I mean, holidays are stressful, busy times, but nothing's changing. Nothing's gonna change. Everything's still the same.
Have you got all your Christmas shopping done? Is that out of the way?
Finally, yeah. As of last night, yeah.
Yeah. I still have one more thing to get, so hopefully come Monday it'll be over and done with, and I can just focus on getting to the holiday and moving past it. It is, you're right, it's a stressful time. There's so much to do.
It is. It is. It's a lot of spending too. It's
Yeah.
expensive.
Very much, too much spending. Let's talk about your upcoming opponent, Justin. You know, he's only 1-0, so there's not a lot of tape to go on to figure out what kind of a fighter he truly is. But the fight that he just had against John Assam, that was a signature win. That was a big win. I mean, John is a veteran. He's a durable guy, and he really went in there and put it on him. What did you think of that fight, and what kind of fight plan are you expecting Justin to try and implement against you on February the 8th?
I mean, I think Justin Middleton is a tough opponent, as tough as they come. I mean, he's a trained killer. We both know that. I mean, I expect him to come with all his might, and I think he's gonna be tough and really hard to deal with. But nothing I've never dealt with, I'd say. I'm gonna be ready. We're gonna put up a show, and I'm ready for it. I can't wait to put up a show. I can't wait to fight in Portland. It's been a while.
Now, I know everyone starts their career, whatever it is, at some point in time, right? So Justin, he could go and beat guys that are 5-0, 6-0, even though he's only 1-0. But does it give you more?
It seems like he has the potential to do so.
Yeah. He looks the part. But does it give someone in your position who's so highly ranked a little bit more pressure in going against him? Are you the one with the pressure going into this fight, seeing that you are the #1 ranked guy in all of New England?
This is amateurs. There's not really a lot to risk. I just care about fighting the toughest opponents around for the experience. Win or lose, we're gonna learn. I don't think there's any pressure on me. I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm not pressured at all.
Okay. Oh, well, that's good to hear. Maybe not so much for Justin, but for all your fans and everyone that supports you, that's got to give them a very calming feeling going into this huge fight here against Justin on February the 8th. What's your prediction? How are you going to get him out of there? How are you going to get your hand raised?
Hey, we're gonna try the best to do my signature move, which is the knockout in the first round. If it's not gonna happen, it's gonna happen on the second.
All right. So you are predicting a finish regardless.
That's right.
All right. Hey, last question for me. What does 2020 look for you? What is it that you want to accomplish? Are you trying to get X amount of fights throughout the year? If I could be like a crystal ball, you know, we could look in there and you could say what it is that you'd like to have done in your career. What would that be?
Oh man, I can tell you all these things that I would like to be trying and doing with my career, but I still have not talked with my coach Nate Libby. I think we need to have a sit down and have a real serious conversation about it. I cannot give you my word right now because I have not talked with him about it. So
Okay.
once that happens, I think he's gonna give me the best advice on what to do. You know.
So next interview, we'll dive into that the next time.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, listen, I know you got a lot of people that support you. So any sponsors you have or anyone that you'd like to thank, the floor is yours.
I like to thank Saco Bay Therapy. They've been great. Scott LaValle has been great with everything that he does, and he's been a huge help when it comes to just recovering from injuries. As far as sponsors, I don't really try to look around and find sponsors, but I'm gonna do it for this fight just because I plan on donating all the earnings from my sponsors and from the ticket sales. I mean, I have a sustainable job. I can pay for my bills and for my training, for my food. I would like to give back for the community, especially when we're fighting in Portland. So I'm starting the process of finding sponsors, hopefully in the next week or two.
That's very cool. Where are you going to donate the money to?
I have not figured that out. I was thinking of a children's hospital or the Catholic Church down in Wyndham. That's yet to be decided as well.
Wow. Hey, that's very cool. I wish more people would do something like that. I commend you on that. That's a great thing for, you know, the community down there and just the sport in MMA. That's a pretty stand-up thing to do. So that's awesome.
I appreciate that, man. I know how to feel. How I know how it feels to be at the bottom and needing that help. So to be able to give back, it feels great.
Well, I'm very excited to see you step back in the cage. I will definitely be there come fight night for this big matchup. Again, I thank you for the time, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.